Welcome to the Expect Success Podcast, a presentation of GeorgeBollick.com with your host, George Bollick. This podcast is for all things personal development. Don't expect success, prepare for it. Please welcome your host, George Bollick.
Welcome to Expect Success at GeorgeBollick.com. Now, in addition to listening to our podcast, you could also view the video format on YouTube at GeorgeTube.com. Neil Pasricha is a Canadian author, entrepreneur, podcaster, and public speaker characterized by his advocacy of positivity and simple pleasures. He's best known for the Book of Awesome series and the Happiness Equation, which are international bestsellers. How can you be financially successful and do what you love? Well, in this episode, Neil shares a model of how you can allocate your time every week to accomplish both of these things. Listen to Neil.
How can I be financially successful and do what I love? Let me paraphrase your question. It's really like, how do I get rich and do what I want to do at the exact same time? This is a funny question because what I hear is either one of two things. I hear that I'm doing a job I don't like, okay? Or I'm doing what I love, but it doesn't make any coin. So how do I marry those two things together? Here's the model I want to share with you all. Every single week has 168 hours in it. If you divide that number by 3, you get 3 buckets of 56. 56 hours, 56 hours, and 56 hours. How many hours of sleep do they always tell us to get every single night? Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that the medical advice is 8 hours a night. You always hear that everywhere. Ariana Huffington's writing books about it. Get sleep, get more sleep. Yeah. Gotcha. Got it. We're going to try to get sleep. That's 8 hours a night, which works out to 56 hours a week. One whole bucket. Now, your terrible dead-end job or your beautiful, loving art project that doesn't pay you is another 56-hour bucket. 8 hours a day, right? My point is, even with those two things, you still have a third bucket. You've got that third bucket to offset the terrible job that isn't what you love or the thing you love that doesn't pay. Make that your other bucket. Let me give you an example. I worked at Walmart for 10 years. Soulless? No, I actually really kind of liked the job, but it wasn't my pure artistic passion. I wasn't making YouTube videos in front of my bookshelf, okay? So what did I do on the side? Well, I created a side hustle. I started a blog called 1000awesomethings.com, where every single day for 1,000 straight days, I came home from work and I wrote a little entry about fat baseball players or wearing warm underwear from under the dryer. I hit post. Okay, I was getting my giggles out in the evenings and weekends and it wasn't making money, and that's okay. Okay, because my job paid for me to do that. And when I had that side hustle going, I'll tell you what happened. You know what happened? 2 things. And this is the key of this model. 56, 56, 56. The key is that when you have something going on outside of work, you become mouthier at work. You speak truth to power. You're like the one asking questions of the CEO. You're like, you got this other thing going on. You don't care. And you know what they do when that happens? They promote you. That's what they do to people that speak up and speak truth to power and ask questions and are mouthy. They promote them. And because you have your job going on, the one that is soulless and pays you money or whatever you want to call it, you are more riskier in your art. You might not slap ads on your podcast or your YouTube channel or your blog right away. Like, I never done any of those things myself. I didn't need to. I had a job. Okay? You might not sort of try to find the commercial center of your art. You might just do it because you love it. And you know what? People can sniff that out. We got high BS detectors these days. They will like it better because it's pure. So you will create risk-taking in the other by having both. You will create risk-taking in the other by having both. If you quit this soulless job, now your art has to make money. If you quit the art, now your job is really dead end. You can't see anything else. By doing both and having them both be 56 hours a week, plus some sleep, you fit everything into your week. You're happier, you're making money, you're doing what you love. It all works out.
That's awesome. For more about Neil Pasricha, simply search YouTube and be sure to visit his website, neil.blog. His aforementioned book, The Happiness Equation, is available at his website and or Amazon.com. And remember, as the late, great Jim Rohn used to say, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today you've been hanging out with Neil Pasricha, Buddy, and myself. So keep up the momentum, subscribe to our newsletter, and never miss another episode. We'll catch you on the next show. And thanks a million for listening. See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Expect Success Podcast with your host, George Bollick. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please rate, subscribe, and review. And find more great content online at georgebollock.com and on Facebook and Twitter at George Bollock. We'll catch you next time. And remember, don't just expect success, prepare for it.